Hello and welcome to another episode of Eat, Smoke, Drink. And today I am, for this series of videos, I am in my favorite city, one of my favorite cities in the world, Istanbul. So as you can see, I am in Istanbul. So what a better country to film something about eat, smoke, drink. Istanbul, Turkey, or should I say Turkey, literally embodies that cultural eating, smoking and drinking. And I'm not saying, look, I'm not encouraging smoking. But there's a shitload of smokers here, whether it's cigarettes, cigars, or hookahs. Not hookers, hookahs, shisha pipe, hookah pipes. So every corner, every street corner, every alley, every bar, pretty much you can find hookah pipes where you can sit down, have a cup of tea, have some coffee, and have a shisha. I mean, look at this. Look at the significance of history here in Turkey. This Bosphorus River is probably one of the most significant historical places in the world. And so I am really looking forward to eating, smoking and drinking with you here in this next few series of videos, okay? So Turkey, it's all about eating, it's all about smoking, and it's all about drinking tea and coffee. I'm not going to do much liquor here at all because it is an Islamic country, so there's not really a huge selection. If it is, it's taxed. It's taxed like fucking Joseph Stalin tax. So when you hear Turkey, the first thing you think about is Turkish coffee, or as the locals would call it, Turk Kahvesi. Okay, Turk Kahvesi. Is that how I said it right? I might have fucked that up, but hey. Anyway, Turkish coffee is extremely different to every other coffee you get around the world. Okay, it's very rustic, earthy, and it's extremely non-pretentious Turkish coffee. In some ways it is ceremonial, but in some ways it is also transactional. Okay, so I'm going to take you through today to different types of Turkish coffee that you can drink here in Turkey, or in Istanbul in Turkey. Okay, one of them is traditional over coals, and the other one is made with just gas heating, gas fire. They make it in these little pots called the chezva, okay, these little copper pots, and I will take you through, and I'm going to have a couple of coffees today. I haven't had a coffee yet, okay, it's only about 9 a.m. or 8:30, 9 a.m. right now. I haven't had a coffee yet. I am fucking tweaking like a San Francisco tweaker. Okay, I am jonesing for some caffeine and some coffee. Right, so I am here. I've just taken the tunnel up to Istiklal. Istiklal is like the main street, the main strip of this side of Istanbul, the European side of Istanbul. It's kind of like the Champs-Élysées of Istanbul, so to speak, right? I mean, I don't know if that's even an apt comparison, but whatever. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to search for coffee. I am tweaking, I am jonesing, and there is a place here called Mandabatmaz or something. Anyway, I keep fucking up how I say it. It's just up the road here, and I will take you through. They are an institution. They do gas fire making of their coffee, but they have been around for like 60 or 70 years or something, I don't know, but years, a long time. So they're a bit of an institution here in Istanbul. So I'm going to go there and I'm going to show you. I believe we are here. So this is the main strip. Usually they're just ridiculous busy, but it's bloody early, so it's not. Anyway, this cafe is in this little alleyway here. Mandabatmaz, there you go, Mandabatmaz, 10 meters to salvation, here we go. So they use a jet gas stove. So they're preheating that chesva looks like it's very old. Interesting, so stirring it for about 10 or 15 seconds to fully dissolve the coffees, I presume. Or not dissolve, but mix it through, obviously doesn't dissolve. And then you have so that fire is pretty substantial. I mean, you can see it's so you saw how they made the coffee there. It's actually very interesting. That was so fast. So they put a spoon of coffee in the chesva. They put warm water or already hot water. They stir it in, and the stirring already soft, brews a little bit, and then they put it onto the fire. And within 10, 15 seconds, that thing was boiling. So whatever they were using is highly conductive. The fire was super hot. I'm thinking brass, copper, probably copper. I bet you they've been using the same chesva for years. So when you get your Turkish coffee, you always get a little water with it, okay? It's interesting because in New Zealand we'll probably shit ourselves with this because it's not sustainable, and you know, people are scared that dolphins and whales and shit's gonna eat this. But I guess if you don't throw it away in the ocean, then dolphins and whales don't eat that shit. But anyway, you always get water to refresh the palate afterwards. It's a little tiny cup. They always tap it. You wait for it to cool down a little bit. It's hot as shit. I am salivating because I am tweaking, I am shaking. I need that caffeine. I say I'm joking, but no, I haven't had my coffee today, and I am a self-confessed coffee addict. So anyway, when you look at it, when you look at the coffee, it is so frothy, it is so thick and viscous. You see, so the coffee they use is a fine powder, okay, very fine powder. So you go to espresso and you make it even finer. So basically the finest your grinder can basically do. Most hand grinders can grind Turkish coffee, but most powered grinders cannot. Only a few can, because most people don't drink Turkish coffee. Now, the interesting thing is, the beans that they use here are full Arabica, okay, full Arabica. It's earthy, it's nutty, toasted cashews, a little soily, wet leather, very leathery actually, like old tanned leather. There's a certain floral note to it. I can't put my finger on, like a little perfume. But the overarching theme of this coffee is leather, earth, toasted nuts, and the texture is just so weird. I'm actually going to try and video the texture for you so you can see it, okay? So that's the texture there. Very thick, very viscous. So this is an institution. This has been here for a very long time. I don't know exactly how long, but I know a very long time. I've been here before and I love their coffee. I love the vibe. Oh, 1967, there you go, 1967. Anyway, let's get tasting. Oh, so this is opposite. This is opposite of espresso, opposite of soft brew, filter coffee. This coffee is very robust, okay? Surprisingly, it's not as bitter as you would think it is. Toasted peanut, toasted nuts, leathery, but you can definitely feel the very, very fine grit in your palate, but not to the point where it's uncomfortable because it's so fine, it kind of just passes. Oh, absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. Usually they put sugar in there and make it sweet as hell, but not in this case. I don't like sugar in my coffee. A very medium bitterness. Actually, surprisingly, the acid profile has actually been elevated in this process, so that's pretty good. I would go as far as saying that this type of coffee is way better than Italian espresso, okay? Very different thing. But Italian espresso, the bean is so burnt to shit, and it's just so, like most Italian espresso or French espresso, it's just that the bean is just such terrible quality and it's just burnt to shit. I actually think that the roast profile of this bean is more medium to dark. Not dark, but medium to dark. While espresso, especially in Italy, is just all dark roast, dark roast. This is medium to medium dark, actually. You've got a little sour, you've got a little bitterness, you've got dark chocolate bitterness. Fantastic. Anyway, I'm going to try and walk around to see if I can find one that does it with a coal. And let's compare the taste profile, because this one was brewed so quickly, so quickly. The coal is a longer brew, and you have hot spots with the coal as well, because the coal is at a constant heat, right? So anyway. Oh, all right. Man, that's good. I can mainline that stuff. So I'm now at the end of my coffee, my Turkish coffee, and as you can see, I'm not sure if I can even convey that properly. You can see all that sediment in the bottom. So you have to let it rest a little bit so it goes down as much as possible. I'm going to drink a bit more. And then it's all that fine sediment in the bottom. So you're actually only getting about half the shot. So roughly the same as an espresso, but you can see, look at that, it's like clay. So when you order a double Turkish coffee, then you actually end up sometimes getting a bit more liquid coffee in there per buck, so to speak. But whether or not you can handle that or you want that, that's another question. But you know, pretty potent flavored coffee. The caffeine hit is not as strong as espresso, and definitely not as strong as a big pour of filter coffee, but definitely a very different and rustic experience. Absolutely delicious. So I'm on a quest now for a cold coffee, and I just wanted to actually walk around here because, I mean, holy shit balls, look at this. That is the Bosphorus. I mean, insanity. Look at that. The Hagia Sophia is there. I mean, what a location to have a coffee. And from memory, there was one charcoal coffee here. So let's just look and see. Anyway, can't get over that view, huh? So I found a place that does the traditional cold coffee. So you can see they have coals and they have a shitload of chesves lying around, and I must say the view is not bad. So I presume they would use the same supplier or very similar suppliers for their coffee. No sugar. So this one here, they use cold water from the get-go. So the heat looks like it's coming predominantly from the surrounding area, not quite from the bottom, but the surrounding sides. Oh, add more water there. So with coal, the heat's never going to be as direct and hot as you would if you had a hot gas jet, you know what I mean? So I'm presuming that the extraction from this coffee would be slightly more, probably longer and more robust. Even though it's cold water, it's heating it up slowly over time. So in this particular instance, they stir after it starts to warm up. You can start seeing it steam. So the other one was stirring so much more. This one not as much of a stir. Little pyrotechnic there going on. Now I think what they do is they do that either to boost the heat right in the end, or just because it's fun. Fire's fun, but I think it's more to get that fire going right in the end. Go, perfect. So that's quite interesting. The process is a little bit different. The time it takes to make is actually very similar, but the fire seems obviously a lot faster. It's more direct surrounding heat, while this one, they put the powder right in the end. I thought it might just be for fun because I like making fire, but no, what it does is that some of that coffee actually lights, it opens the flame and it gives it a boost of heat right in the end. So if you look at the nose, interesting, the nose of this is more fragrant than the other coffees, right? The other one is more leathery, soily, earthy. This one is a little bit more floral, slightly more herbal. It still has that leatheriness, but not a soily smelling. And it looks like they use, well, I mean, this one uses the big brand that we, the biggest brand that's available. The other one have their own beans, so maybe it's just two different blends, right? I don't know, but this one is not as gritty on the top. It doesn't have as much of that foam. It's not as gritty. It's not as powdery, but the flavor is less bitter and milder in flavor. So that's interesting. I mean, it could be the difference in coffee beans, but the extraction on the other one seems so much harsher and harder. Not harsher, but so much harder than this one here. The other one, he stirred the shit out of it for 20 seconds in hot water and then put it on the boil. This one, he didn't stir at all. He just put it to warm up the water, and then he stirred it twice, very short. So I think really it depends on your style. What is your preferred style of coffee? Do you want a very hard extraction, or do you want a milder extraction? This one here definitely brings out the more floral part of the coffee. Interesting. Very nice. Both very nice. Not a criticism at all, but depends on your style. Anyway, until next time, make sure you eat, smoke, drink. Cheers. And that's our Turkish coffee edition today. And I am buzzed out because it's my second coffee in less than 20 minutes. And I think I might have to go home and just, I don't know, bang my head against the wall or something. Cheers.